There are things that when you, in my situation, when you live in a dominant culture that is designed to destroy your sense of self and your belief in yourself, and you have to learn ways in which you can begin to connect with this power that you have within yourself to handle where you are. The key is to be constantly in a perpetual process of discovering the truth of who you are and fighting constantly to look for ways in which you can escape the inner conversation.
Because it's decisions we make that chase that best version of us every second, every day, that every day alters the direction of the course of our life.
If you had not been through some pains, you would not have the burning to do what you do. I believe that children are like arrows. They need to be directed. You aim them at the thing you want them to hit, but you don't push an arrow, you pull it away from it. And it is the digression that causes the progression. If your life has been tough and it's been hard and you had to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and your childhood wasn't so good, guess what? That was just the arrow being pulled back so that when you are released, you can thrust after the thing you're after.
Are you interested in achieving these goals? Or are you committed? If you're interested, you'll do what's convenient. You'll come up with stories and excuses and reasons why you can't, and you'll use your education as an excuse. You'll use your story as excuse. You'll use the fact it follows a cab driver. And as a gambler and never had any money, you'll use all of that as your reasons why you can't.
Take your seed, take your gift. Get away from these people that's in your life that ain't doing nothing. Get away from people in your life that's hating. Get away from your family members that ain't ever opened a business. Get away from your family members that ain't ever followed their dreams. Get away from your family members ain't never been nowhere but to the family reunion. Ain't never been to a beach. Get away from them. Get away from them. I had to do it. When I told everybody I was getting into comedy, man, oh, Lord have mercy. You can't get into comedy. You ain't even funny. How you gonna make money telling jokes? Now, in the beginning, it looked like they was right. But I never gave up. All I did was identify this gift. I wrote all of my visions down. I read them every morning and every night. And I instilled them in my head. And every time I met somebody, they say, hey man, what you trying to do? I would tell them one of my visions. Somebody would always say to me, you know, I know a guy that's selling them things right there. You ought to talk to him. I started scratching stuff off my vision board. My vision board is so vast now. If I showed you what was on it, you wouldn't even believe it. Because I dreamed so big.
Say things like, you really think you can get that promotion? You don't have the experience, the talent. I don't think so. The detractors, they cannot stop your dream. Sometimes the people closest to you will be the least supportive. Don't get distracted fighting battles that don't matter. They would love to convince you to keep your dream buried so you don't rise higher and make them look bad. They don't realize God has put dreams in them. If they would stir it up, they could fulfill their purpose. Successful people, people that have a dream, don't waste their valuable time looking at what everybody else is doing. They're too busy focused on what God has put in their own heart. The enemy targets people who have a dream. He'll use opposition, discouragement, delays, jealousy, everything he can to try to convince you to bury that dream. You're not going to let people talk you out of it. Circumstances discourage you.
You have to thank God that the answer is on the way. Don't talk about how you feel. Say, thank you that I'm healthy. Thank you with long life you're satisfying me. In your finances, maybe you're struggling. All through the day, thank you that whatever I touch prospers and succeeds. Thank you that your favor surrounds me like a shield. When you thank God in advance for the answer, that's what keeps you encouraged.
They've been marked off the vision board a long time ago. The vision boards work. I'm not bragging, I'm telling you how this works. You don't think I got all these TV shows, I ain't making no money now. I'm out here hustling and grinding, but I'm willing to work. You gotta write everything you want down. Now, if you want, like I said, you go to school, try to get you another degree. I don't have one. I'm telling you what I did to get here. I learned a few scriptures that made some good sense to me. You have not because you ask not. So you mean to tell me if I just keep asking you for it and believing in it, that's one way to get it? Okay, cool. Then you tell me faith without works is dead. You tell me if I believe in you and I'm willing to work, I should have it. But I can't believe in it and don't work and I won't get it. Okay, I understand that. And then you tell me to write the vision and make it plain. I can do this. These are things you can do today that ain't got nothing you don't need nobody's permission to succeed. To get to God, you ain't got to check with nobody.
Understanding self-worth is the beginning of progress. If one of us can do it, all of us can do it. That's the kind of value you should place on yourself. If he can change, I can change. If he can get it done, I can get it done. That's the attitude about yourself.
You have no idea of what you can do, of what you can accomplish. I just got tired of somebody telling me what time to be there, how much I'm worth.
But if you're committed, you will do whatever it takes to let go of your stories. You'll let go of your excuses and become who you were destined to become, just as a mentality. Like, you got to live this, you got to be this, you got every single thing you do with a mentality. It's okay, so what do I mean? Going to the next level is about the W, the O, the R. Okay, baby, it's about work. No, I'm not talking about location. I'm talking about giving 120 when you're at work this week.
He available to you today. You ain't got to get cleared. His line ain't busy. You can talk to him right now. I do it all the time. That's how I got here. I'm telling you how you can get to where you're trying to go. Now you can go get your another education if you want to. I did it without an education. I did it without nobody's money. All I did was identify this gift. I worked. I wrote all of my visions down. I read them every morning and every night. And I instilled them in my head. And every time I met somebody, they say, hey man, what you trying to do? I would tell them one of my visions. Somebody would always say to me, you know, I know a guy that's selling them things right there. You ought to talk to him. I started scratching stuff off my vision board. My vision board is so vast now. If I showed you what was on it, you wouldn't even believe it. Because I dream so big. I want so big because the God I serve is big.
One of the big thrusts for success is to come up with a strong enough why. Here's another good answer to why. It's why not? Why not see how much you can earn? Why not see how much you can learn? Why not see what kind of person you can become? Why not see how many people you can rescue from oblivion? And why not? If a farm boy can wander out of Idaho and finally arrive at this extravaganza, why not you? I want you to take that personal. Why not? Why not you? You've got the brains. You can make decisions. You can change your life. You can make your dreams come true. You can build a financial wall around your family nothing can get through. Why not you? My very last question. Why not now? There never was a better time. Let's go do it now.
She got $1 billion. She has my attention. Now, like I said earlier, you don't gotta be rich to be happy. Maybe your goal is not to make $1 million. That's cool. But maybe you just need 150,000. Maybe you just need 200,000. I'm telling you, you have to write this information down. I don't care what church you go to, synagogue, temple, mosque. If you don't write it down, chances of it happening is slim. Could that be the one thing that's holding you back? If I'm telling you this, a dude with no education, I can't read a business periodical. My head will explode. I don't even know what they're talking about. It's not what I do. Too many times, people have you focusing on your weaknesses. You're wasting your time. You ain't got to strengthen that.
I lived with that diagnosis all day. Later that evening, I had a biopsy where they stuck an endoscope down my throat, through my stomach and into my intestines, put a needle into my pancreas and got a few cells from the tumor. I was sedated, but my wife, who was there, told me that when they viewed the cells under a microscope, the doctors started crying because it turned out to be a very rare form of pancreatic cancer that is curable with surgery. I had the surgery, and thankfully, I'm fine now. This was the closest I've been to facing death, and I hope it's the closest I get for a few more decades. Having lived through it, I can now say this to you with a bit more certainty than when death was a useful but purely intellectual concept. No one wants to die. Even people who want to go to heaven don't want to die to get there. And yet, death is the destination we all share. No one has ever escaped it. And that is as it should be.
Thinking that it's never going to work out, don't believe those lies. It's not too late to become all that you were created to be. And every time you remember your dream, every time you say, Lord, thank you for bringing it to pass, you're removing some dirt. You're digging it back out. As long as you remember the hurt, you're going to get stuck. Somebody perfect for me, better than I ever imagined. Instead of, I'll never be in management. I'll never get the promotion. This company, they don't even like me. You're putting more dirt on your dream. You're burying it deep. You can bring it back to life. It starts in our thinking, in what you believe, in what you're saying. Have you allowed any dreams to get buried in you? At one time, you believed you could do something great. You believed you could lead the company in sales. You believed you could break that addiction. It's been a long time. Had some bad breaks. Wasn't all your fault.
They came and they passed. And they came to pass. I kept the faith. I kept it. I lost a lot of stuff. I lost a lot of friends. I lost a lot of strength. I lost a lot of courage. I lost a lot of time. I lost a lot of money, but I kept down on my knees. I was still believing. Broke, I was believing. Lonely, I was believing. Betrayed, I was. If you lose a job, keep the faith. If you lose a spouse, keep the faith. If you bury your child, keep the faith. If you have to downsize, keep the faith.
Work on what you good at. If you focus on what you good at, you'll make enough money. You hire somebody to be what you ain't. I got all kind of people read numbers and contracts and all that because I can't do it. But I hire them. Listen, man, you've got to write this information down. Let me tell you what the reason writing it down is important. Because it plants the information in your subconscious. That means write exactly what you want. Don't deviate. Be clear. If you want 4 cars, there's nothing wrong with wanting 4 cars. If you want 3 houses, you can have 3 houses. Why not? Why? Why you can't have? Why you just can't get a home? What kind of God you serve where he won't give you a house? It's just a house. Somebody asked me the other day, they saw my vision board, they said, man, where your dream car at? They in the driveway.
Death is very likely the single best invention of life. It's life's change agent. It clears out the old to make way for the new. Right now, the new is you. But someday, not too long from now, you will gradually become the old and be cleared away. Sorry to be so dramatic, but it's quite true. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary.
You could easily settle where you are. Nobody would fault you. God sent me to light a new fire on the inside. That dream is still alive. You may have tried a year ago, 5 years ago, or 40 years ago. Didn't work out. Nobody was there to help you. God is saying to you, go back and try again. This is your time. This is your moment. Your destiny is calling out to you. If you can't have a weak, defeated, give up spirit, I'll take the easy way out. I'll settle for second best. I don't want to put forth the effort. If you don't stir it up, you can miss who you were created to be. I believe there are some dreams shut up in you. When you have a dream, you're going to have some detractors. People will get jealous, try to make you look bad, try to talk you out of it.
If you have to move in with your mama, keep the faith. If you're at your wit's end, keep the faith. If you have to catch the bus, keep the faith. If you have to dumb, keep the faith. If you get sick, keep the faith. If you lose your kidneys, keep the faith. If you got heart trouble, keep the faith. You might not get a new heart, but you got to keep your faith.
I need you to do yourself a favor. I need you to put all your heart, all your mind, and all your soul into it. It is a decision. It's something that you have to decide. And whatever it is that you decide, you're going to end up seeing the evidence for that. So you have to be really careful whether you decide that life is difficult. It's the slew of things that's coming at you, that's trying to break you. And nothing ever good happens to you, or if you choose to believe. No matter what happens to you, please do watch our other motivation videos on the screen. Now, thank you.